Hey there guys, I am the Six Machine and welcome back to another Warhammer video. Do you remember Warzone Octarius? That thing they announced ages and ages ago now with the Orcs and the Tyranids and that big new campaign? Yeah, well, that's up for pre-order next week. Yep, kind of totally out of the blue, but there we go. The next Warzone supplement for 40k is going to be in your hands in just a short couple of weeks' time. And the first book in this new Warzone, Rising Tide, looks set to be focused heavily on the Tyranids and the Imperial forces trying to stem the unending horde of monsters. So it has been announced that in this book we will be getting some brand new rules not only for the Tyranids of the Hive Fleet Leviathan, but also for the forces of the Astra Militarum. So that's really cool. Two armies which are somewhat underrepresented so far in 9th edition will be at least getting some love and some new rules to help keep them going until their eventual codexes arrive. And today, Warhammer community have begun to unleash the onslaught of teasers and previews for the books, and it looks as though the Tyranids are going to have quite a few new tricks to play around with. And that's because they are getting some brand new relics, warlord traits and stratagems to go along with the new rules that they are also getting, and some of which we have seen previewed already, like the new Synaptic link ability. And today on Warhammer Community they showed off a few of these new traits and relics, and they started off with a very nice one, a new warlord trait, the Synaptic Hive Blades. These replace a bone sword or a monstrous bone sword and allow you to completely ignore enemy invulnerable saves, which is a very nice ability to have if you are wading through things like Iron Halo saves or Storm Shields. It will add a lot of killing power to things like your Hive Tyrants or your Tyranid Primes, and although it doesn't affect the Swarmlord because he has got bone sabers instead of bone swords, I honestly wouldn't be too surprised if maybe in this update, or almost certainly in the codex if not, his own swords will get some version of this rule carried over to them natively, giving him some way to bypass enemy invuns as well. The only slight downside to this trait is that as it stands at the moment, bone swords are only -2 AP, so even ignoring invulnerable saves, things with a 2-up armor save are still going to be getting a 4-up armor save, and even 3-up armor save stuff is still going to be getting a 5-up, so that kind of negates the whole ignoring invulnerable part of these weapons anyway. Whether we will see bone swords going up to -3 AP innately to help create a bit of a better balance with this warlord trait, I guess we will have to wait and see, but for me that would kind of make sense, and it would make this trait go from kind of meh if they stay at -2 AP to actually pretty damn solid. They also showed off another new warlord trait which is quite unique in that it allows you to essentially choose a new separate warlord trait from the list of Tyranid traits and you get that for a turn. So this in theory could let you swap out to the Monstrous Hunger trait from Behemoth for a bit more damage, or maybe even one step ahead from Hive Fleet Kraken to get always fights first. It is quite a customizable and adaptable, funnily enough, for the Tyranids sort of trait, so I do think that this one will be quite handy to bring if you have some specific game plan or some specific tricks that you really want to get off and you need the right set of rules and the right set of abilities for that right situation on your warlord. They also mention, although they don't actually show off the rule, that you will be able to get 2 traits on your warlord with a new stratagem called the Alpha Leader Beast, which seems to be a 1 command point stratagem, and as far as we can tell basically just lets you choose another warlord trait for your warlord. And they do suggest that you may want to choose to accompany this special rule the new Swarmleader Trait, which is a very nice trait, pretty much turning your warlord into a chapter master. It lets you choose a friendly infantry, beast or swarm unit in the command phase, and for that turn it gets full rerolls. And so this will essentially turn your big 9-man blobs of Tyranid warriors into absolutely terrifying opponents in melee with their native 3+ to hit with full rerolls, but also making them much scarier in ranged attacks with their Devourers and their Death Spitters. Even though they're only hitting on 4s, with full rerolls they go up to 75% chance to hit, as opposed to the 50% they have normally. And then on top of all of this love, it does seem that Crusade hasn't been forgotten either, which is honestly brilliant for an army like the Tyranids, where I think Crusade will be an area where they can really come into their own and feel unique and feel like a proper adaptive hive fleet. So they have a new rule, which is the Adapt Warrior Organisms, which is 1 requisition point, and it allows you to choose a unit from your order of battle and pretty much just flat out swap all of the battle traits that it has. So this could help turn one of your squads from a hyper specialized melee killing unit to a really focused ranged unit, or even just give it a huge amount more durability on the battlefield. And because you can do it at any point, sort of before you get into your Crusade game, if you know sort of the opponents that you're going up against, you can use this to sort of adapt and tailor one specific unit in your list to really perform well in that particular game or in that particular Crusade mission. And I think that is a truly brilliant little addition for the Tyranids for their narrative Crusade games. What's possibly the best bit of news from this article today, though, is that this new book, Rising Tide, looks set to combine all of the additional rules put into the Psychic Awakening book, which the Tyranids got last year. So between this and the old Codex, you will have all of the rules that you need to play Tyranids in 9th edition, and hopefully, with this new book Rising Tide, you will also be getting a good chunk of new and exciting rules to help keep them going and help keep their head above water until they do get their new Codex. But what do you think of the rules we have been shown today? Are they enough to keep the Hive fleets going, or is more biomass needed in the form of a fully fledged 9th edition Codex to really bring the Swarm back to the top tables? Let me know in the comments below what you think, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me, but until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.